5 tanks that we're going to be involved in coating here. 150 down to whatever, 146. The tanks are 120 feet across. They're 25 feet deep. We're going to coat from 18 inches up on the tank, on the wall, down to, and the whole floor area. We're using 982. We're using 2 coats of 982. We're coming in. We're sandblasting the whole tanks. We're using humidity control in every one of the tanks. We're keeping the temperature at 65 degrees when we're applying the coating. We're going at 15 mils per coating, 2 coats, and basically filling in all the corrosion pits and any other flaws in the bottom of the tank that have occurred over the years. These tanks have been in here for approximately 20 years, and we expect our coating basically to do a fine job in continuing the life of these tanks.
Up on the top side. As you can see, again, these things are 120 feet across. When we're actually coating these tanks, they're empty. This is a floating lid. The lid goes down within about 6 feet of the floor level. There's expansions in each one of these tanks that keeps the from 18 inches on the wall.
Here we are in our heated van, and this is our plural mix machine here that we're looking at. And we have our heated lines wrapped around this, so it's out of the way from our heated area directly to my right. And our pressures that we're maintaining here are running up about 3,400 pounds per leg on our 2-to-1 mix. And as you can see, our temperature in our van back here is 170 ambient, and our material temperature doesn't reach over 140 at that ambient temperature. This is our plural mix mixing tube here and the lever for that unit. And when that is thrown back, then the material starts pumping, and we have feeder pumps in our heated area that force feed this pump. This is what's called a bulldog, Graco bulldog, and these feeder pumps are necessary to feed this pump so that there is no air or lack of material to it, so that you maintain that 2-to-1 mixture, so you don't have any misproportionary mixtures at the end of the tip, and that is a critical thing. We currently have 150 feet of line on this pump, and find that that's all we need, and we don't really want to go beyond that. Really not much to look at other than that, and we'll step into the heated area now. And here's our Chesterton product, and here's our Monarch 10-to-1 pump. Then we have a 1-to-1 that pumps the B component. The Monarch is for the 1-to-1. We fill these barrels, we transfer them from one to the other, and we don't take the pump out, so we never have an airlock within our system. We always try and keep that from taking place so we don't have any problem with our pumps. This is our number 5 blast that we have here. This is the existing coating that's in the tank. What we have here is 6 mils of metallizing aluminum. We have 6 mils of polyurethane coating that's on top of that, and the coating has failed in the metallizing, and it's blistered quite bad. Here's an area right here, and this is the grit that we are using, and like I'd mentioned before, it's recyclable, and its weight is about 3 times that of sand. And the profile that we're achieving from this particular grit is 3 to a 4 mil profile. As you can see, the steel is severely pitted here, and the Chesterton coating that we have will fill that, and it'll make it as smooth as a bathtub when we're done. Okay, we're currently spraying our millage onto the floor at 15 mils, and this is our manifold here on my right. got a mixing tube running from here to here. And our pumps outside in our van are feeding to these material lines, and this being the flushing line. When we stop, we pull this lever forward and open this to flush our lines out so we don't have any setting up of our material. And he's putting down 15 mils at a time per patch, which is approximately an 8 by 3 foot area, and he's taking 3 mil readings per area. So we're assured that we have our millage thickness per coat. The profile on the floor is running between 5 and 6 because of the severe pitting. If you take a look at that, you'll see that it's quite deep. And because of that, we're using a little bit more material than we actually should be. We're required for a 3 to 4 mil profile, and we currently have a 5 and 6 overall. And I'm going to let him go ahead and continue spraying because the material's in the line. It's going to start to stiffen up. So go ahead, Joe. As you see, he sprayed the weld area first, and that's to assure that there's good coverage on the weld, because your failures usually are taking place at your weld. And our millage on the weld area is, after we've sprayed the tank out, has been running in the between 35 to 45 mils on the weld areas. And you can see now that he's taking his mill readings. And he does that immediately, so there's a flow back in the material in the areas that he's checked. You can see that disappearing now. Now, apparently he come up with a little lower reading, and he added a little bit more material to it to bring it up. You can see as he's spraying, he's got a 50% overlap, and he's not flipping his gun out on the ends. He's keeping it at 90 degrees to the steel at all times. The material currently is spraying really well. There's no fingering taking place, and our heater tapes at 140 degrees are on and working good. And we have an inline heater in addition to that, the Graco heater that has a limit of 140 degrees.